Good afternoon. This is Dale Snyder with the Snyder Group at Keller Williams Realty here in Las Vegas, Nevada, giving you a luxury market update for the Valley. We've broken it into two different categories. One is going to be the $1 million and above and the $500,000 and $999,000. Chose to break it down in two different categories just due to the fact that a lot of our semi-custom and even some of our custom homes are as cheap as $500,000 in the Valley now. So let's jump right into the data, and then I'll give a quick summary. But for a very in-depth, informative conversation, please reach out to me, because it's really going to depend on which area of the city specifically, and then the price range you're in. And let me just preface this by, when you get into the custom section of the market, it kind of frustrates me sometimes when people are trying to give me a price per square foot breakdown, because it really depends. Pocket doors. There are a lot of things that are going to make the price per square foot go up as much as $100 a square foot, with the arched roofs. So it's really hard to give a breakdown of just price per foot to get a real pulse on your specific criteria. So we're going to use that for today's data analysis, just because we have to have some sort of bearing or some sort of data to go off of, just to give a general overview for the Valley. So we're also going to include Henderson and all of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, the entire Valley for this analysis. So let's jump right in. So let's start with the $1 million and above price range. You can see we have about 280 properties on the market for sale, 58 currently in contract, 13 have sold in the last 30 days, and 36 have sold as of the second quarter through yesterday. So we have, another week left before we finish out the quarter. So if you assume the 58 in contract are going to close, which obviously some of those are going to fall out, but just for this conversation piece, let's assume that those are not still currently on the market. That leaves us with about a 21.5 month supply of inventory in the $1 million and above price range. So, the lower end of the market, and if you look at it, if you break it by quartet, which we're going to have a graph at the bottom of this blog, where you'll be able to see that the bottom 25%, the lower middle 25%, and the upper middle 25% is a seller's market right now. So when you get to that upper 25% of the market, it's still a very strong buyer's market, just due to the I don't want to say excessive amount of inventory, but we do have a pretty high amount of inventory at this moment. Out of the homes on the market, 13 of them are short sales and only 2 are bank owned, which shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you. The banks are choosing not to foreclose. And with not choosing to foreclose, the people that are looking at potentially short selling, their urgency has gone down, knowing that the banks aren't going to be foreclosing on them. So this doesn't surprise me at all with these numbers. Of the properties in contract, 25 are short sales and 4 are bank owned. So a big jump up in that, which shouldn't surprise you either. The vast majority of the properties in the luxury sector are overpriced. I mean, just to be real with you, there's a reason why they're sitting on the market 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. If they were priced in alignment with where the distressed properties are selling. And when I say distressed, I'm referring to normal sales as well, but there are people that need to sell their properties, so they're having to price more in alignment with where the distressed sales are to move those properties. Let's move over to the solds. You can see that 2 short sales and 4 bank owned properties have sold so far in the second quarter, which actually surprised me. I figured that number was going to be higher, but there were quite a few non-distressed sales that sold so far in the second quarter. Let's look real quickly at the averages. The average price of the properties for sale above $1 million is $2.8 million at $352 a foot. We've got the high of the sales list price is $25 million. We have 32 properties above $5 million on the market currently. Let's move over to the pendings. The average list price of the homes in contract is $2.2 with a $268 per square foot, 205 days on the market. When we move over to the solds, the average sales price is $254 a square foot, which we're seeing 91% of the list price is the sales price. So if you look at $268 a foot, the average sales price of $254 a foot, and then you look over here, the average list price of $352 a foot. I mean, there's no wonder why we have 280 properties on the market with a 21.5 month supply when you're just looking at these price per foot average variances. But keep in mind, you can't really put all these custom homes into a price per square foot box. But for data analysis, I think it's a fair assumption to do that, to give us numbers to look at. All right, let's quickly move on to the 500,000 to 999,000 price range. We have a 5.4 month supply. This market's hot. We're seeing a lot of activity. If you price your property right in this range, you're probably going to get multiple offers within a couple of weeks. So 319 currently on the market, 188 in contract, 59 sold in the last 30 days, 153 sold in the second quarter. Of what's on the market, we have 47 are distressed, either short sales or bank owned, with an average price per foot of 182. Going into the contract, we have 119 of these properties are short sales or bank owned. So a lot of these are going to be falling in and out of escrow. So this supply of inventory is skewed a bit, because when you have 100 short sales in escrow, unfortunately there's going to be a lot of fallouts over the next 12 years. Just kidding, over the next several months. 170 bucks a foot is the average of the properties in escrow. Moving over to the solds, we have, about 52 distressed have sold in the second quarter with an average of $164 per foot. So if you look at on the market, 182 per foot, in contract 170 per foot, in sold price 164 per foot. Homes are selling at about 95% of the list price right now in this price range. And it doesn't matter if it's a short sale, bank owned, or a normal sale, the numbers are about the same. So in summary, we are seeing a drastic shift or change in our marketplace right now, but it's not so much in the luxury sector. $1 million and above, we're seeing multiple offers, but you've really got to have a unique product. And days on market, we're seeing on average 150, 180 days on market. When you get into this 500 to $1 million price range, it's a completely different animal. There's a large amount of buyers in this area, and the properties there's a much less supply to choose from. Hope this information was of value. Oh, I forgot. Let me tell you, of the sales, there were 5 sales in the second quarter that were above. What did I have for the data here? I had a 5-hour energy, so bear with me. There were 5 that were above $5 million, and above $2 million. Sorry. We had 2 in Southern Highlands, 1 in Red Rock Country Club, 1 in the Ridges. And the high sales price was $5.6 million in the estates at Southern Highlands. So those are the highest sales we've seen in the second quarter. Once again, this is Dale Snyder with the Snyder Group at Keller Williams Realty. Hope this information was valuable. Reach out to me if you'd like to have an educated conversation on the luxury market. Have a great day.